What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another podcast, episode 76. We are 3/4 of the way to 100 episodes. My hair is right in front of my eyebrows right here. I think we're on like day 20 of the lockdown. It's a new week, though. It's time to get our boots back on and to get back at it. There's going to be probably a lot of barking in this episode. My dog is home alone with me, obviously, and Taylor, and we're on lockdown, and she's probably going to be barking. The amount of people exercising today and for the past 3 weeks is brilliant. It really is. Like, I've never seen such a vast amount of humans working out ever in my life. And I've worked at a gym, man. It's honestly, it's good to see. And I hope that is going to help slow down the spread. You know, I was thinking about this. I was talking to Taylor about this. At the end of the day, the one thing that is going to hurt, the one thing that's going to make the biggest impact of just how effective, I don't think the word effective is what I want to use, but just how efficient the coronavirus is going to be is if people let down their immune systems and they just kind of completely fall apart. And I think that's why in my last episode, I kind of made like a snarky joke with like the quarantine 15. But it's honestly, it's true. It's one of those things where there's a lot of things that you can't control, right? Genetics that you were given, you can't control that. The size you are, your immune system up to a point, but you can also control your immune system a lot. There's a lot of ways you can take care of your body. And I think the best defense mechanism that all of us can work on is to develop a healthy immune system. And how do you go about that? How do you build up because you got to think about it like this. You got to understand that no matter what it is, the world that we live in is constantly at battle. Us humans, we are just a collection of a lot of cells, right? That's all we are. Some of our cells make organs, and these organs don't even understand what they do. They just know that they function, and all of them function together to create me, who I'm talking through this collection of atoms, right? But you got to understand the world is not about life, right? The world is about death, right? All animals are trying to kill one another to increase their genetic reproduction. And it's not a malevolent thing, right? It's not an evil thing. Nature doesn't see good or bad, right? I've been sharing this fact so much lately. Because it's so fascinating. It's so brutal, but it's so fascinating too. So bed bugs, the females. I was listening to Eric Weinstein talk about it, who's a brilliant podcaster. I highly recommend listening to his podcast. It's called The Portal, and he's a genius. First of all, he's a mathematician from Harvard, and I think he's a economist too. And I think he's like a managerial hedge fund manager at Peter Thiel's company, but he's a genius, and he talks about his brother's Brett Weinstein, who was part of the Evergreen State College of thing that went down, I guess. But this is just an example of nature and how brutal nature is, and how life isn't about living really in a weird, dark way. Bed bugs, male and female bed bugs. The females have no vagina. they don't have a reproductive system. They have a reproductive system, but they don't have a canal, I guess, or a crevice or a hole that is created to accept the male's reproductive organ. They don't have a vagina. So the only way for a female to get pregnant by a male bedbug is that the male has to brutally rape the female into reproduction. They have to find the reproduction area and make a hole right there. And they have to brutally rape it until they can get into the thorax. So they're just puncturing holes into the thorax of a female bedbug. And you ask, why did I even go there? And part of and the reason why I say that is because you got to remember, this whole world is out to attack each other. So when things like this happen, when viruses go down and they outbreak and people start passing away, you got to understand this is, let's try to put the conspiracy theories to the side for this one. There's a lot of conspiracies about Wuhan's biomedical lab there releasing this to the world, which I wouldn't put it past China, honestly. I mean, I wouldn't put it past humans are evil, right? Like, imagine if Adolf Hitler was still around. I'm sure he would attempt it. So I'm sure there could be another Adolf Hitler out there. As dark as that is, I wouldn't put it past anybody. Just because your morals and, your values are like kind of in a line and they're kind of positive, does not mean at all that other people's values are there and positive. I think it's a lot harder to maintain a healthy level of positive values than it is to go off the crazy path and lose your mind. I think that's so much easier than trying to maintain a mentally stable view on the world. But like I was saying about the thorax and the raping and the bed bugs, the world is at a constant fight all the time. The way that our Earth even stays in a rotation is constant, powerful forces just attacking each other and pushing off each other, and the friction and the gravity, and there's so many things that we don't even comprehend. A nuclear bomb can explode from the littlest friction of atoms. This world is put together as such a tiny miracle, almost godlike way. It doesn't even make sense. It almost seems like a simulation of a computer. But there's a constant war always going on. Every day a human gets up, something's trying to kill us. That's why we have vaccines for the flu. That's why we have vaccines against, chickenpox and measles and mumps and, whatever it is. Medication against AIDS. It's weird. But nature's all about reproduction, So it's so crazy that there's a I'm going to get so much shit for what I'm about to say, but that there's a disease that kills people who don't reproduce, right? There's AIDS, which kills predominantly homosexual men. It's just weird how nature kind of doesn't care about feelings and emotions, and they do these things to just kind of, it digs its claws into things to kill. Coronavirus is trying to kill us. It's trying to kill us. It doesn't want us to survive. Just like the Spanish flu, just like the Black Plague. It doesn't want us to survive. It wants us to be dead. It wants to kill us. In the same way that we want to kill coronavirus. We want to fucking kill it. We don't want it to be here anymore. We want to get this thing out of here, right? That's what we want. We don't want it here. So the immune system, there's like one little thing that we can do to really build ourselves up to be strong, to take care of our body. I'm putting out my laptop again because I want to be a lot more factually accurate on things. At least try to be. Because I think the bigger the podcast gets, I don't want to be just completely riffing nonsense out. At least, I will always do that, but I want to fact check a little bit here and there. But there's one system in our body that can protect us as much as possible. I mean, our body will kill itself eventually. Cancer, our body kills itself. Like even our body doesn't want to be alive. Like our body, it's such a weird thing that at the age of 30, you're expected to really start getting your shit together. Well, no, actually at the age of 30 is when your body wants to start dying, right? Because between the age of 12 to 18, bitch, you better have kids, right? If you're looking at a biological level, that's why women start their menstrual cycle so early. Because when they start it, that's when their body's most capable of having a kid. It's dark and it's fucking societally disgusting. And personally, it is disgusting. There's some freaks out there who don't think it is, and that's why we have prison. But in a lot of cultures, still to this day, it's completely normal. But there's immune systems that can fight off bacteria, diseases, intruders at a much higher level. And it's like I was saying, it's so beautiful that people are out there walking and exercising, taking care of their bodies. It's so cool to see. And there's many ways you can build up your immune system. Before I read this, I'm just going to riff off a few things. Work out, get your heart rate up, do that. Sit in a sauna, probably not now, unless you have your own sauna. Sit in a hot shower for a while. Keep your carbohydrates lower, right? Eat a higher fat, higher protein diet. Not a nutritionist, that's just my personal opinion. Take your vitamins, take your minerals, take those all the time. Double, triple up on them. Drink a shit ton of water, at least a gallon and a half a day, at least a gallon. Take walks outside. Meditate. Try to keep your cortisol levels lower in your body. Don't stress. Simple things. Don't smoke. Eat a diet high in fruits and vegetables. I would argue the fruits, but health.harvard.edu says it, so I think Harvard beats me, so shut up, Mike. Exercise regularly. Maintain a healthy weight. If you drink alcohol, drink only in moderation. I would say don't drink alcohol. Get adequate sleep, 7 to 8 hours. 8 out. I read this book, Why We Sleep. It's after you read that book, you almost go like, shit, it's not even a question. You have to sleep 8 hours a day. It's the benefits of sleep are out of this world. Take steps to avoid infections, such as washing your hands frequently and cooking meats thoroughly. There's like these baby steps, and I think that we can all decrease our chances of death from the coronavirus if we take care of our bodies. Social distancing is good. I think it should be. I know in my last podcast I threw around different theories, and as much as I still believe that some of them they're at least worthwhile talking about. Like, at least they should be debated by experts. They shouldn't just be trashed. But there's techniques that we can implement right now to take care of ourselves, and I think we should try to do that. And I think another thing is that the news channels, it's an embarrassment. It's blasphemy, honestly, the way that the news channels have gone about this entire thing, right? It's chaos. Like, fuck CNN, fuck Fox, fuck all the politicians during this whole entire thing. It's so insane to me. It's so insane to me that during a time of medical crisis, our leading advocates, the voices that we're listening to, not the voices that we're listening to, but the voices that we're almost forced to listen to are politicians. Think about that. Just think, pause for a second and think about that. We're listening to news anchors and to politicians for our information. We're listening to people who have no education in any of these things. The irony is outrageous because I have a podcast and I'm not an expert. And I'm aware of that. But the irony is that a medical crisis is happening and doctors and scientists are the people that aren't the most popular. And it's crazy. I think it showcases a lot about where we are as a human race. But the sources of information is an embarrassment. I've thought about what this virus is going to do to the human race. And I've thought about this at a very out there, almost extraterrestrial viewpoint, and I don't think we're ever going to get back to normal life again, in the sense that we filled so much of our time up with bullshit. Like, so much of our time is filled up with stuff that doesn't matter, that just doesn't matter at all, and I think people are missing things, but I think a lot of the things that people are missing, besides work, and income, so much that we do, we take for absolute granted. Like, we act like it should be our God-given right to just go out to the grocery store whenever we want, to just go out to a bar whenever we want, to just go out to a park whenever we want. And I think people are really disconnected about just how much those things are underappreciated. And I think this coronavirus is really taking our modern day society, and I think it's really slowed us down. It's forced us to kind of recognize us as people, as humans, and it's kind of it's taken differences, culture differences, different political viewpoints, and it's put them up here, and it's laughing. Like, you can laugh at that shit now. Like, what were we even possibly arguing about? What were we arguing about before? And I think, at least for me, it's really taught me a valuable lesson. The things that I care about the most, the things that mean the most to me, I have, but I neglect, But back to, like, what I was saying, I really do think that this coronavirus is going to speed up the world in a weird way. Like, so what's going to happen, in my opinion, what's going to happen after all this is over is, well, what was going to happen before this even happened, before the coronavirus hit, is we're eventually going to find ourselves in a world where we are a lot more artificial intelligence is operating more of our system than human hands are. That was going to be the inevitable. That was going to come, and there was nothing that you were going to do to stop that. And the reason why I say that is because once businesses figure out that they can pay less to have a robot do the basic things, everything from an 18-wheeler to factory workers to, people who do insurance for you. If you can get a robot that has all your information and it can determine percentage on the risk of your life, it can determine how much your insurance should cost. Once you get a robot to be able to do all of that, it's game over, right? And the companies are going to pay less, right? Because a robot shouldn't have to get paid. It's like a human. If you took if you took consciousness out of a human, that's what a robot is. They won't ask for more money. A robot's not going to ask for more money. Now, unless that robot develops a mind of its own, and then we're all shit out of luck. Because then you're working with something that doesn't have emotion, but it doesn't have human emotion. It has robot emotion. It functions off of emotion, but it doesn't get emotion the same way that we conceptualize obtaining emotion, right? That's for a different story. I'm not going to go there. But I think the coronavirus is going to speed that up. I think after the coronavirus is done, and not done, but once it's under control, I think we're going to go back to a time where we're going to, kind of after 9/11 happened. Everyone's going to be very friendly with each other. They're going to talk to each other. They're going to take care of each other. We're going to recognize each other. But I think you're going to see lingering effects of this, right? I think businesses that are still functioning now, I think they're not going to hire back everybody. So there's going to be a depression, right? When businesses get their feet back under them, because not everyone's going to go out in public immediately. There's going to be a long-lasting effect of this. People are going to be scared. I think the handshake is going to go up in the museum of human interaction. I think the handshake is going to go extinct. Now, if you close a business deal, it's going to be oh, did you make elbow-to-elbow contact? How solid was did you square up your elbows? The handshake itself is going to go away. Maybe. I don't know. Who the fuck I know? What the fuck am I talking about? But I think the gap of us going from humans being the forefront of the economy and robots being the forefront of the economy, that gap was going to mature in a very slow, a 10, 20-year period. But I truly believe after this whole thing is over, there's going to be about 1 to 3 years, where 1 to 3 years where everything is back to normal, but recovering. And then I think 5 to 10 years, that gap is going to, the normalcy is going to go away. And I think this is going to increase the rate of robots and artificial intelligence taking control of the economy in a weird way, especially the healthcare system. This is going to be such a huge thing for all healthcare, anything that does anything with health. Those industries are going to blow up. And when they blow up, they're going to blow up with robots. They're not going to blow up with people. I really don't think so. I think this is going to be the same way that the Industrial Revolution really was kickstarted by World War II. Maybe that's probably not true. But I sound like an idiot. What am I even talking about? But I really do think this is going to be a time when we look back and we're teaching history classes in 2200. We'll be the economy changed from humans playing with machines to robots playing with the machines in 2020, right? I don't know. It's fascinating. I really do think that this is going to take the world by this. There's going to be lingering effects of this, and I think there's going to be a completely different change when it comes to how the government takes care of people. It's so fascinating to me, the irony of the stimulus package. A lot of people hated Andrew Yang's idea of giving Americans $1,000 a month if you're 18 and older for, forever. And I get it. It was an absurd idea. And it cost a lot of money. Where's that money going to come from? And I get it. I understand that. But at the same time, I think he was just showing that there needs to be some type of overall support net for people in times of chaos. Because he knew, as I think a lot of people know, that chaos is right around the corner. Like I was saying at the beginning of the podcast, everything's trying to fight us all the time, and I think understanding that chaos is going to happen instead of just, I like when people say, oh, be thankful for today. I get it. I fucking understand. That's cool. I get it. Daisies are pretty too, but they're going to die eventually. I think you got to understand that chaos is always there. You got to understand just fucking how fragile everything is. And if there's a financial net for everybody, I think it makes everyone breathe easier. But like I was saying, the irony of everybody who hated that idea and everybody who would lose their mind over Bernie Sanders about his socialist ideas or just general healthcare, maybe because everyone should have healthcare. If our well, I'm not going to get too political, but free education, what's wrong with that? I'm going to stop right there. But after everything went down and the stimulus package is passed, $2 trillion where's that money coming from? Taxes. Or it's not there. We're going to eventually have to pay for it. But nobody cares, man. Nobody cares, dude. Do you see it? Nobody's complaining about. No one's going to not accept a $1,200 check. Everyone's going to want that $1,200 check. Everyone's going to want that $1,200 check. No one's going to say, oh, I'm going to donate it. Why? Why is that? It's because at times of peacefulness, it gives you a reason to just argue. But when it benefits you, you don't give a fuck. You want it. You don't care about where's it going to come from. Are we going to have to pay for this in the future? You don't care. You care about surviving. Look, people are selfish as shit, right? And everybody who hated Andrew Yang's idea and hated Bernie Sanders, they don't hate him now. They're acting like it never even mattered. The irony is out of this world. It's crazy. It really is, because now everybody's going to get a $1,200 check or a $500 check. Everybody's getting put on unemployment. Everyone's getting put on unemployment. You remember a lot of people said unemployment's for the fucking weak or for people, lazy people, some bullshit like that. Like there's plenty of people who said that, but now nobody's fucking saying it shouldn't be a thing. Well, it's because people don't expect chaos. Chaos is always right around the corner. It's literally every corner you turn, it's going to happen. So when these ideas are put into place here, I think you have to look at more than just from a selfish standpoint. Like, I don't want to pay unemployment for that person. They should just get a job. Maybe that's not the fucking truth. Maybe that's not it. Maybe they're paranoid schizophrenic and they can't work a job. And what they need is healthcare. But they can't get healthcare because healthcare is fucking extremely expensive. Because for some reason now, health is like royalty. For you to have the best health, you got to have the deepest pockets. Maybe, just goddamn it, just maybe people who have always been on unemployment, and maybe people who do leech onto the government, I would give you, maybe there's 20% of them who do it just because fuck the government and they're lazy. Maybe. But, also, there's a large percentage of those people who are mentally unstable, paranoid schizophrenics. They are drug addicts. They are alcoholics. And what they need is that money to survive. They need that to get up every day. And maybe they need healthcare. But it doesn't matter unless that shit affects you. Until you become that paranoid schizophrenic who's out there shooting heroin in their arm and leaning over with their fucking heads in the plant pots like in Baltimore. Nobody cares. Everybody has strong opinions on everything until that shit starts affecting their personal life. And I think that's sad. And I think it's hilarious that nobody's saying F the stimulus package when the stimulus package could help them. And it's it's something that I think it's really shown a chink in our armor as people. I do. I think it's at least at the end of the day, it's fascinating. It is so fascinating to see all this play out. It's a moment in time where we're ripping off our bandages and we're actually seeing who our neighbor is, who our friends are. And it's going to be fascinating how it all plays out. You know, it's going to be fascinating how it all plays out. Politically, it's I've almost got to the point where I forgot. It's hard for me to even decipher why we have parties politically. Fuck your Democrats. Fuck your Republicans. Fuck your independent. Fuck whatever. Screw them all. Screw your right wing. Screw your left wing. Get your fucking wings out of here, bro. That shit doesn't matter when life is hard. And I think that is a valuable lesson for us to understand. And I think that right there showcases how flawed the system is. And fuck the system. How flawed humans are. Where we call people libs or Dems or rednecks or whatever it is. It's an embarrassment to you and I that we have these strong beliefs until chaos hits. Because it makes me question how much of those beliefs are actually your beliefs or how much of them are just you being pulled along by the color that you side with. And it's going to be very interesting how people go from let's all take care of each other, let's all wash our hands, let's all elbow tap each other, let's all stay 6 feet away from each other, let's all look out for our neighbors, look out for ourselves, but we're also looking out for each other because we all have grandfathers, we all have mothers and fathers who are sick, who could potentially die because of this. But it's going to be damn interesting to see what happens when this thing is over and how people start separating back into their fucking disgusting little red corners and blue corners, and they're yelling at each other about what he said and what she said, and the circus will continue. The circus will continue. People will get back on Facebook and start losing their mind about each other because their aunt said this or their cousin said that, or this coronavirus has taken humans and made us human again. It's made us human again. It's taking our teams, our colorful little reds and our colorful little blues and our elephants and our donkeys. I don't know if it's elephant, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. And it's made us a fucking human. It's made us a damn human. It's taken our race and our colors and our bigotry for the majority and it's flushed it down the toilet. It's taken that person's salary, taxing it, and giving that money to people who need it. No, that's not a socialist idea. That's not a communist idea. I don't give a fuck. Fill in the blank. I don't care. No, that is a human right. You're alive. You're a human. That could be my sister. That could be my brother. That could be my father who just got laid off. And you know what? I'm going to take my money because I'm well off to do. I do well. I do well for myself. I have millions of dollars. Tax it. I don't care. They all have it. That makes me feel good. I'm not red. I'm not blue. That's me brushing off the paint, I guess, if I painted my fucking head. Because it seems like that. It seems like people are in tribes, but it's taking that shit and it's thrown it away. And that's why it makes me sick to my stomach how this was going on and it was politicized. And I think the gas pedal has been taken off of that a little bit. But shit like this, times of chaos, people remember what it means to be a human being, what it means to love your neighbors, what it means to take care of each other. And people throw away the bigotry because you get so spoiled that you start choosing teams and you start forgetting about human rights. You start becoming an asshole to each other. And that shit is fucking stupid. And this podcast is not going to get monetized because I've cussed a lot. And I think I even flicked off the camera. But as you can tell, I'm very passionate about it. I think it's so important. And I think this is going to change the world. And this is taking the entire world. This is taking the entire world by storm. You know, and I know I watch videos on it too of the conspiracy theories about it. They're fun, dude. Like, they're fun to watch. Like, they're fun to watch, dude. I'm guilty to even watch. I watch 9/11 conspiracy videos. Do I believe in them? No, but are they fun to watch? Yes. But people watch serial killer movies all the time. Do they like serial killers? No, but are they fun to watch? Yes. It's funky to see, right? But this is really this is showcasing. It's funny how a coronavirus is showcasing the flaws of human beings in a very weird, absurd way. I think this is bringing us together, and it's there she is. I knew she was gonna start barking eventually. I think I finally ordered a hard drive for my podcast because I've had to delete all the podcasts to make room on my laptop, but I finally have an ability to put it on. Finally, 75 episodes into it. But I think this is going to be good for humans. I think it's showcasing the flaws, and I think it's going to benefit us in the long run. I do. I really do. And I'm lucky to live in a time period where I don't know. I think we needed this. I think we were getting to such a weird, polarizing place. Nobody gives a fuck about shit that doesn't matter anymore, you know? Nobody cares about that. What everyone cares about is taking care of our neighbors. The most selfless thing you can do is to force yourself to stay home, right? We're all accepting that. And that's a beautiful thing that we're doing it because we don't want to get hurt, but also we don't want to hurt other people. And I think that's something that we have to recognize, the beauty in that. It's fucking incredible, dude. I'm very proud to be a human right now. There's been many times where I've been disappointed to be a human because there was times where we didn't treat each other like that. You remember when Donald Trump was running and Hillary was running? And do you remember that chaos when if you met somebody and you figured out they're Republican, it was fuck them. Or if you figured out someone was a Democrat, it was fuck them. Yo, that shit doesn't matter right now. And it should never matter. That shit should never matter. Your political viewpoints, your viewpoints on anything should never matter. It just should never matter because you got to realize that is like someone's, that's not like somebody's eye color. You can't change that. But you got to understand political viewpoints and opinions are changeable. They're changeable, man. We all started off as sperm, but we all got to this point where we are now. And the reason why we're at this point now is because we're a collection of our personal beliefs. But those personal beliefs, they do change with the wind, man. And that's okay. Like, that shit's fine. That's what makes us human. That's what makes me, me. That's what makes you, you. And that's what makes you turn off this podcast 30 minutes ago because you hated what I was talking about. And that's what makes you still listening to this podcast right now because what you're saying, you may hate, but you want to hear. Or you may love and you want to turn it up. Who the fuck knows? So you want to share it with your family. Who knows? Who knows? But I'm at these beliefs right now because I'm a human being. And that's a beautiful thing. And you have your viewpoints because the trajectory that your life has taken you has gotten you to this point where you could even believe like that. The fact that you can even put pieces together like that is fucking beautiful. And there are people that need to be shut down. Adolf Hitler's of the world. You know, they need to be shut down. You can't be killing people, man. That's fucked up. You can't just be killing Jews and dropping them like damn flies. You can't be doing that shit. Jews are beautiful people. People are beautiful people. We're all beautiful people. We're all just trying to make it. And I think the irony is something that we all need to see right now, that is taking coronavirus for us to recognize humans as human beings and not as groups of people, because we're not groups of people. We want everybody to be okay. We want to be okay, of course. We want to be selfish. I get it. I understand. It's about you. That's why you go to college, to educate yourself. That's why you get a job, to get the best job for yourself. That's why you live somewhere you want to live for yourself. I get it. I get it. Humans are selfish. People are selfish. I get it. But also what I don't understand is why we acted like we didn't give a fuck about certain people, when at the end of the day, we do care about people, because that is what people do. We care about people. The reason why there's so much friction in relationships, whether it's with your father, with your mother, or girlfriends and boyfriends, the reason why there's so much friction, I think my theory is because you care about the other person. You want the other person to be okay. And I think we want each other to be okay right now. We don't want to hate each other. There's a reason why the stimulus package gets passed without people being angry, because we know that people need the money. We know people need the money. There's a reason why unemployment keeps on getting backed up, and people are okay with this, because people need the money. It's because people want other people to be okay. You know? And if you didn't want that, you're an asshole. We kick you out of the group. We want everybody to be okay. We want everybody to get their feet back under them and walk again. And it's taking coronavirus to get us to that point. I think that is a fascinating thing that needs to be taught after all this chaos is over. I think that is something that we all need to really dissect about our character and our personality. And what does this all fucking mean? Do we really hate Dems? Do we really hate Republicans? Do we really? Or are we scared that they might be right and their viewpoints might be acceptable by our own opinion? And that makes us feel like we're kicked off the team. I think it's better to be a powerful person but acceptable to groups than a weak person and hiding behind your group. I think that's something that we all need to go for. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this podcast. I hope you guys liked it. I kind of went on a tangent there, but I feel like I had to say something, and I made a podcast so I could say something. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, please subscribe, like, comment on it, hit that notification bell. If you guys are watching this on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or Spotify, make sure you leave a 5-star rating. Guys, thank you so much. Be beautiful. Have a blessed, beautiful day. I'll catch you guys in episode 77. See ya.